Hi, I'm Filipe Leitão, composer, sound designer, and music producer. In this video, I will cover Pro Tools from the very beginning. Overview on the interface, how to create tracks, and some of the main tools. Please follow me on social media and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Write a comment or questions below. I will be happy to reply you. Enjoy! When you open Pro Tools, you're going to have this first window, and then you're going to create a new section. So I'm gonna just you have the options like to storage that on cloud. I I usually don't do that, but for now I'm gonna just like using my computer storage. Okay, I'm gonna create a new product, save here the location, so desktop. Another thing you need like to watch is the type of like audio file Pro Tools are going like to record. We have two options basically, Wave and AIFF. I I particularly prefer like Wave because it's kind of like standard. You have some option for sample rate. I'm not going to like to talk much about the technical part of that, but basically, if you go higher, you have like a better resolution of your audio recording, but you're also going to have like a large audio files. A good quality, like a kind of like default for a CD, for example, is 44. Make sure like you click on that interleave it. Um, because it's going to like to record like both right and left channels in one single file. Okay, so then after that, you just like go create. Okay, now I have this main window. That's called our edit window. So where we're going to have tracks, where we're going to start recording things. We also have this mix window, which we're going to have like a mix here with faders, etc. when we're going to start having tracks. And we also have the other one, which is called what is that? MIDI editor window, and we have that when we start like having using like MIDI tracks. So I will first of all give you like a brief overview on that, kind of like introduction to what we can do in Pro Tools. First of all, we need to create a track. So there's nothing here. There is no way we can record or input any like MIDI notes here. We need to create a track. So to create a track, you go to track and go new track. Or which I usually do is like Shift Command N. For Windows, that should be like Shift Control N, I think. And then you have this new window where you can create many different tracks at the same time. For example, you can have like an audio track, you can have an aux track, a master fader track, a VCA, MIDI track, instrument track. You can create an audio track, and you can click on that plus, and it can create another track, another. You don't need to go create and then go again create. You can create as much as you can. So let's say if you're going to record a small ensemble, you have like 4 microphones. You just like come here and then create like 4 tracks for 4 microphones. That's quickly done in Pro Tools. That's one of the things I love in Pro Tools. You can really create everything like set up as you want. For now, I'm gonna create one audio track. I'm gonna put that stereo, and you can rename that later, but you can also name that here. I will create one instrument track, another instrument track. Actually, I could like even delete that and then put it here, 3 instrument tracks. Okay, and create. See what we have now? We have tracks, and by default, also Pro Tools differentiate the tracks with different colors. So instrument tracks are usually that dark yellow, brown, and audio tracks are blue. If you're going to record, you have a timeline. So they basically that you have this instrument. Let's say if you're going to record a voice, you have these other instruments, and if you have one like above other, we're going to like to have them playing together. and you have the timeline. So basically things happens during the time. In Pro Tools, you have the option to have different types of timelines. And that's also changed the way you organize your music, or depends how, whatever, like the project you want like to work with. You have like a bars and beats timelines. That means you have bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4, bar 5, bar 6. Okay, so that's how I have these lines here organized. So that's my grid. So that means I have my first bar, my second bar, my third bar, and etc. If I'm doing like a musical project, that would be the type of timeline you're going to work with. If it doesn't matter, bar line, you can use like minutes and seconds. You can use that other one. See how that changed the grid as well, because now it's like set for seconds. Each of that thing here, the line represents 1 second. Time code, if you're working with some kind of like a film, and if you need like to do something more precisely according to the time code, you can use that, and samples as well. You have bars and beats, minutes and seconds, time code, and samples. Samples is like the smallest divisions of a sound. You see, when I click on that different time lines, you also change this here. You see how that changed? So because that's the representation of your timeline, where you are basically. So if I'm with my cursor here, for example, I'm on the beginning of the 4th bar, the first beat of that 4th bar, and a little bit more. If I click here, exactly, I'm really at the beginning of that 4th bar. Makes sense? If I'm using like minutes and seconds, so the representation here, I'm gonna have like minutes and seconds. So here's my 5th second of the piece, and time code, and etc. You need to have activated that grid. You see here, otherwise you are not going to have the grid. You can do that for different reasons. Like, let's say if you're going to place audio file here, and you don't need to line up with any type of thing. Like, you don't need to precisely do the rhythm, or you just need to do that freely. Maybe you don't need the grid. But I mean, usually I use the grid. So you have that grid here, you have the lines, and you can line up that things here. Besides that, I have some subdivisions inside my bar, right? Since that's 4/4 time signature, like I have like 4 beats in 1 bar, I have 4 subdivisions. Okay, but I can also change that, and I can have more subdivisions. Like by default, I have that 1/4. That's the quarter note. I can go to 1/8, and I have more subdivisions. If I have like 1/16, I have more subdivisions, etc. Okay, that's just how you want like to be more precise or less precise on your recording. You have basically 4 options to basically interact with your timeline. You have the shuffle, spot, sleep, and grid. When you have the grid, when I click, my cursor goes to the grid. You see that? I can't like click here on the middle. And the same, like the audio file or the MIDI file is going to like to line up to the grid. If I have the sleep, I have more freedom. So I can select this. If I have the grid, if I do that, I can only select it snap to the grid. You see that difference? If I have the spot, it works as the sleep, but when I have like the audio file, that's gonna ask me where I need to spot that audio file or a MIDI file. So it's gonna ask me what is the bar, or what is the time, what is the minutes or seconds. I will spot that. Write your comments or questions below. I'll be happy to reply you. See you in the next video.